Close your eyes and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Airing on over 200 affiliates across America, this is Tim Connolly's Winning Strategies. Call now with your questions at 1-800-336-2225 or email talk@winningstrategies.net. Now, here's Tim Connolly.
And we're back and live with the portfolio manager of the Midas Fund, Tom Windmill. And Tom, we were just beginning to talk about, is this really all about inflation, or is it about safety, or some combination thereof of why gold has been such a sought-after investment this last year?
Well, it's probably a combination thereof. I think it's important to really understand how inflation affects U.S. investing. There isn't a lot of inflation. The newspapers put a headline out there that the smallest increase in inflation since 1966. These are the May statistics compared to April. The consumer price index was up 2% for the year for the last 12 months. But let's take a look at the other important part of the equation for most U.S. workers, and that is that wages actually were unchanged in the 12 months. So your costs are going up 2%, your wages are unchanged, and at the same time we know taxes are going up because we've got enormous deficits, a $1.4 trillion deficit that has to be paid somehow. So you're not getting any money in the bank because the interest rates are so low, and you've got inflation nipping at your heels over 2%, and it's probably going to be increasing. We're seeing on the wholesale side, the producer price index is up 5%. So you're seeing the trends clearly in place. Inflation is outpacing wages, and inflation is going to start consuming savings that most of us have in the bank for college or retirement or other large expenses going forward.
You know, it is a market that I think that there are so many people that now are in it that didn't used to be. And it's very interesting. I was in Zurich about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, Tom, and I was with 3 different Swiss bankers. All 3 of them maintain storage of physical gold in Switzerland. And, you know, I didn't get to see any of it, but it's very interesting seeing how many people are using gold as the ultimate in flight capital, and they want to just put it away and know that it's there. And that's what people have this ability with the Midas funds to do, of being able to know you're benefiting from that, and if you need to get out of it, you know, in physical gold, you might not be able to get out of it as quickly, and you might not get to that vault in Zurich quickly. But with Midas, you have the ability to go in and out, including the Midas fund itself provides current income too, right?
Oh, we do invest for income as a secondary investment objective. One of our favorite positions is in Fresnillos, which is a large silver miner based in Mexico, interestingly, and they pay out 50% of their net income in dividends, and that comes right into the fund. One of the other funds that Midas offers, as I mentioned, the Midas Perpetual Portfolio, our 5-star fund invests 20% in gold bullion, 5% in silver bullion, but it also invests a chunk of its assets in Swiss Confederation bonds. We believe that Switzerland is a very well-managed country. They understand the value of gold, and those bonds that are not denominated in euros will prove out to be a very good investment for the long term. The perpetual portfolio, with its hard asset security investments, is really designed for almost any type of investment scenario that you can think of. Whereas Midas fund was up 80% last year, the perpetual portfolio is much more kind of the tortoise, the steady goer. It was up about 17% last year. So we offer a range of different ways to participate in what we think is the best place to be in the markets in the hard assets and particularly gold and silver areas.
You know, it's interesting when you mention about the Switzerland and the Swiss banks there. One of the things that I got a wonderful education about was how they believe that the source of problems in the United States banking system is the FDIC insurance. That no Swiss bank has ever failed and no Swiss bank has ever had deposit insurance. And it's because they just...
That's really interesting. You know, the whole idea of, you know, being responsible for one's own investments is a very Swiss idea. And in the United States, we had a number of bank defaults, of course, in the Depression. The FDIC came in. But that led to all of the problems that we had in the late 80s and early 90s. We're seeing it again. There are over 350 banks at the end of last year that probably are basically brain dead and need to be basically taken over by the FDIC, but it's full of bureaucrats, and they're not telling the truth either about how difficult and in what difficult a situation the U.S. banking system is with all the defaulted commercial loans and so on and so forth. How much safety is there in the FDIC? There's probably unlimited amount if you think about getting your dollars back, but the dollars are going to be worth less going forward. That's the key part of understanding these statistics, that the U.S. simply cannot create enough currency or cannot create enough growth to pay for all these things, and using dollars with their value today. They have to deflate they have to inflate the currency and devalue the dollar in order to meet its future obligations.
It's a very, very interesting time out there in the world, and it's obvious that gold is an incredibly attractive investment today. So for those of you that want to look at gold, Midas Fund, MIDSX, go to MidasFunds.com. And Tom, I'd love to have you back on next quarter and just kind of give us an update, and we'll see how things are going then.
That sounds like a great idea. Look forward to it, Tim.
Okay, thanks for being on the show. Guys, it certainly is an attractive investment today for a lot of the world, and he's right. This thing of new issues of gold coins selling out immediately is wild. And of course, there's just as many people that will say this is like the tulip craze of, you know, 150 years ago is what's happening with gold. I don't share that. I don't know. You know, Gary, do you own any gold?
Yes, I do.
Well, we have some in our pension plan, and I don't own any physical gold. But Mike, what about you?
Well, I'm buying the GG right now as we talk, looking for adoption weekend rule. I think the gold's going to be higher Monday, so I would be buying gold right now. But I think 13 is a major resistance point, and I think that while the Midas Fund is brilliant, I think it's going to be fully priced as we get into the 4th of July here.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. It's hard to say that gold is a bargain right now. You know,
and 13 is a major resistance area from a lot of my work. But having said that, I would be long now and a seller on Monday.
That'll be interesting. We'll roll that over into the Pick of the Week here. Right after this break, of course, we'll have the Pick of the Week segment where everybody sticks their neck out and makes their call on what they're going to be in for the next week, maybe even the afternoon. You never know. But we will be right back with Winning Strategies after these messages. Go to winningstrategies.net. Sign up. We'd love to have you as a member. We'll be back after this.
Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway announcement. Do you have troubled skin, acne?